We're building a 1500 horsepower twin turbo 4-wheel drive street truck, and we've been waiting on an intercooler for months. Now, I want to retain all of the factory features of this truck. I want to drive it on the street, which means there's a lot of stuff that we have to package in a very tiny space. We got a lot of fabrication to do this week, and some people might think this would be impossible to get it all to fit. But can we do it? Well, I'll let you be the judge. Most of the time when you think of work boots, the first thing that comes to mind is how heavy, stiff, and uncomfortable they are to wear. And because of this, I used to just wear my skate shoes around the shop, which is not the smartest idea, especially when we're cutting, grinding, welding, and working around heavy equipment. But when I got my first pair of Brunt work boots, that completely changed my perspective of how comfortable and durable a pair of boots can be. I've been wearing my Brunt Marin boots for a couple of months now, and right away I fell in love with how comfortable they were from day one. But after months of daily use, they continue to offer support. So at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like I've been standing on concrete floors all day long, even though that's exactly what I've been doing. They're breathable, so your feet won't get too hot. Plus, they're slip, heat, and oil resistant, which is perfect in a shop environment like this. But my favorite thing is they're designed by actual real-life blue-collar workers. So you know they're designed to take all the abuse that you can dish out. But the best part is they're affordable, so they're not going to break the bank. So if you want to grab a pair of the most comfortable and durable work boots that you'll ever own, click the link below and use my code Tolman10 to get 10 bucks off your first purchase today. Try them out on the job, and if you don't like them, just send them back. The first thing that I want to take care of today on the twin turbo drag truck is getting the intercooler mounted. That's really like the last major fabrication project before we can get this truck driving as a twin turbo. Of course, we have the two turbos mounted, the intake's right there, but instead of piping the hot gas from the turbo into the engine, we're first going to cool it off out here by mounting that guy. Now, there are two major challenges to actually getting this accomplished, mainly because of packaging and space, and they didn't design a Silverado to have a twin turbo big old intercooler hanging out up front. So the first thing, or the first challenge, is we need to make a little bit of space by taking the transmission cooler and sliding it backwards. Normally it sits right on the front of this A-frame, but with the thickness of the intercooler, the grill sits kind of, well, right there on that black line. We need to move things back just a little bit. And the second challenge is making a place to actually mount the intercooler. This one is 4.5 inches thick, made by Treadstone, and the mounting bracket's right here on the side. Now this does have a fair amount of weight to it, so we want to have kind of a beefy bracket. You know, we don't want to, say, bolt it directly to the AC condenser, which is like the only thing in that general area. So, you guessed it, it's time to do some fabrication. Every aspect of this truck build from the ground up has required custom fabrication. Whether it's the chassis, the suspension, the steering, the rear end, the fuel system, the plumbing, the cooling system, and of course the turbo kit and intercooler, there are no good off-the-shelf options. I mean, the Silverado is a pretty popular truck, but I haven't found a twin turbo intercooler with brackets that would fit and work how I want it to. So literally, the only option is to build it ourselves. Got the rough shape of the new core support bracket, brace, or whatever we're calling this, kind of lined up, and this is about as lucky as I could have got. I went to the store and I bought a 6-foot piece of this 1x1 1/8-inch wall, and this, literally this sliver is 80 thousandths of an inch thick. That is all I had left over. Now I did make a slight mistake. These are 1 inch too long because I forgot to account for because they're not going to sit like that, they're going to sit underneath, but 80 thousandths of an inch plus 2 inches and a couple of saw cuts, and that's all we're left with. So a little bit of cleanup and we'll start welding that together. Now overall, this truck probably has hundreds of hours worth of fabrication time in the project start to finish, and this core support project is no different. Cleanliness, of course, is the most important thing, so we got to clean off the paint from the aluminum core support brace, and then we can actually start to weld things together. Now, because it's made from aluminum, I'm holding it down to the table with some heavy steel blocks. I think these are old leaf spring parts, but once it's all held where we want it, we can get it tack welded in place, and then we can get it burned in for good. Now, I've always struggled with aluminum, but thankfully, so far, this project is coming together pretty good. So we got the top and two sides all welded up, and the last part is to trim these side pieces to the right length and then weld on the little legs. But before I do that, I'm just gonna get the front end tore down, remove the bumper, headlight brackets, and the original A-frame. And then we'll kind of use the core support of the truck as a fixture, so all this lines up exactly how it's supposed to. So as I take this truck apart for like the millionth time, I just stop and I think to myself, like, what on earth am I doing? Why am I building a twin turbo extended cab, full size, full weight truck? I mean, I want to go fast. I want this thing to move, but it's going to weigh over 5,000 pounds. Now, I'm committed to this project and we are so very close to the finish line, but like this whole thing has just snowballed honestly out of control, because initially it was supposed to be just a four-wheel drive conversion to the ugly truck. I don't even have the ugly truck anymore. This has a twin turbo small block under the hood, and I'm just thinking, like, why am I putting so much effort into this project? And some days I'm like, maybe I should just pull the motor and put it in something else. But we're committed, and we are so close to the finish line, so there's no option but to finish this thing up. And a short while later, the welds are cooled down and the intercooler bracket slash hood latch brace, it's all done. Or at least the rough outline is done. Of course, it's not permanent yet because we have to, build the tabs to mount the transmission cooler, a couple of little mounting points for like the headlight bracket and for the intercooler itself that's going to attach right here on the front. But it's looking good, and yeah, we get a, like I said, transcooler, that's next. We're gonna push it back as far as we can. Of course, we don't want it to touch the AC, AC condenser, but we'll leave a little bit of an air gap. But we're moving right along. Because the twin turbo drag truck did start as an idea that kind of spiraled out of control, the next project that I start, I want to do a little bit more planning. Now, you guys know me for trucks. I mean, I worked on a TV show building trucks for years. I've worked on my own YouTube channel for years building trucks. And the next thing that we do, it's got to be a little bit different. And I got to tell you guys, my top of the list dream project is a C6 Corvette. I'd really love a ZR1, but I think what I want to actually realistically do is a C6 Z06. So that to me is kind of like what keeps me going with this project, because as soon as we get the twin turbo four-wheel drive done and tuned and running and making passes and pretty well dialed in, my prize for myself, I really want it to be a C6 Z06. So we have the transmission cooler mount 100% complete, but the job is still not done because there's one more issue. As you know, we are recessing the transmission cooler back as far as we can while still maintaining an air gap because we want to leave room for the intercooler. But that does create one more problem right down here with the AN hose end. Basically it hit. So to fix that, because things have already gotten kind of carried away, we're going to continue on with our crazy over-the-top fix, and we're going to do basically a C-notch. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to cut a little bit of this core support back, maybe like an inch or so, and then we're going to plate it in and we are going to weld it. And because this is made from aluminum, just like that, of course, we're going to TIG weld it. So let's carry on. I always say that you should try to do things that are hard, and welding aluminum is one of those things that it's taken me a long time to get comfortable with. I'm not the best in the world, but this particular part of the project really had me scratching my head. As I was starting to weld in the little C-notch on the lower core support, at first it just was not taking. Like the torch would puddle the metal, it would turn molten, but as soon as I went to introduce the filler, it would just like get contaminated and spark. The end of the filler was glowing for a little while, and I'm like, what on earth am I doing? It took me a while to figure it out. but I had inadvertently picked up stainless steel filler wire instead of aluminum filler wire, and it kind of actually stuck the two pieces together, but I'm like, I'm an idiot. So I actually had to cut the piece out, and I deepened the notch by about another 1/8 of an inch to get some fresh aluminum to start welding to again. But yep, definitely a big mistake on my part, but at the end of the day, I think we got it figured out. And well, hey, go figure. If you use the correct filler material, your welding will come out a lot better. And after a little bit more messing around, we have the transmission cooler mounted in its final location. Now, obviously, this project is taking quite a while because my main objective was to mount the intercooler, and secondary objective / requirement was to relocate the transmission cooler. And I mean, this project has taken a lot of time. It was a short week because we had Memorial Day, but it's already Thursday at the end of the day. And, you know, doing like a welded in C-notch on the core support, totally unnecessary, but you guys should know what I'm about to say. Do it once, do it right, and do it to the very best of your ability, even though it takes more time. So I'm hanging in there. But yeah, very happy with how it turned out. Plenty of clearance for the AN fitting over here. This one, there's actually going to be room. I don't have to do a notch over here. I just need to build a little bracket for a cushion clamp in this spot. But the AN hoses now are a little bit too long based on the new rearward position of the cooler. But we'll take care of that later because the main thing that I want to take care of is to get the intercooler mounted. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, a little bit of 3/8 round bar, a little bit of 1/8 flat stock. We have two of these guys, which are going to be kind of the face of the mount, and then we're going to build the rest of the brackets using some 3/8 round bar because I've always wanted to try kind of the bar looking mount. I think it'll look cool. So I have the spacing figured out. This is exactly where we want the intercooler, just a couple of 2x4s cut to length. That is going to hold the position. So I will then pull this all off and just kind of basically build it on the table. When I'm building these projects, I'm constantly looking for ways to do things a little bit better the next time. I always try to do every project a little bit better than the last, and this is no exception. Now, I see all these tool ads on Instagram and all over the place, and there's one that's been in the back of my mind. It's called the machete, I think. It's just a little tubing bender, or it bends flat stock and bar, which is what we're working with here. And I couldn't help but think, I need to buy one of these tools because instead of taking 3 or 4 pieces of round bar, cutting them, getting the angle just right, and then TIG welding them together, which does take a long time, I could have made it out of a single piece of round bar and just bent it up. And I think the finished product would have been a lot nicer. I mean, I'm really happy with how it's going to turn out, which you'll probably see here in a second. But like, tools are one of those things for me. It's like, if you have the right tools, the finished product can be so much better. So it's on my wish list.
It's Friday, it's 6:04 p.m., so I hope this fits. I hope.
Who are we kidding? Of course it's gonna fit.
As if there was ever any doubt. In the words of Grandpa Brooks, it's a thing of beauty, and it's gonna last forever.
It has been a week, a long week. Well, a short week with lots of hours in it because we did have the holiday, but whew, this is a relief. I am so happy that we have this intercooler sitting there, bolted up, plenty of clearance. I mean, not plenty, but it has clearance, and like, that's quite the cooling stack. I mean, we've got intercooler, transcooler, AC condenser, radiator, a couple of big old electric fans, and somehow it's all gonna fit behind the bumper and the grill. I actually just did a test fit of the grill off camera. The bumper, I am gonna have to do just a little, maybe a little more than a little bit. So I'm trimming in this area, kind of along there, but it should all be covered up by the grill and everything will fit, because that was the whole goal. I mean, this is a street truck after all. It's gonna be a fast street truck, hopefully very fast. And it took a lot of work to get a 4.5-inch intercooler fitting in there, but we did it. And yeah, I'm tired. I'm looking at it. In terms of how this is all gonna connect up, we're gonna come out of the turbos. We will have to do a little bit of cutting on the headlight bracket, the plastic thingy, and it's gonna come in one side. Same thing over there, but of course we are going to relocate the battery and the PCM to have a similar air path, and then we're gonna come out of that. We're gonna go down here somewhere, straight up the middle, and boom, cram it down the throat of our 6.2 liter LS. So, yep, it's done. Thanks for watching. Believe it or not, this right here is the most rewarding part of doing a project, because it means we're done. Or at least done for the week. Done with the intercooler. I go home and then do some editing. And real quick, it's 6:41 p.m. I gotta go home, but I want to do that after the show, brain dump, FAQ sort of thing that you guys sometimes appreciate, because I know some of you are building your own projects like this, so let's jump right in. Note about the power steering cooler. I did keep the factory upper mount for now. I did just chop this a little bit shorter here, the little OEM mount there. I could build a tab. I'm not quite sure what I want to do, because when it comes time to building the upper intercooler tube, I didn't know if that would be in the way or not. I think it'll fit, but we had an option to relocate that if we have to. This is a Treadstone intercooler, TRTC 9.5 or whatever. It's the 9.5-inch, 25 across, 4.5 wide, rated at 1,500 horsepower, dual 3-inch inlets, 4-inch or 3.5-inch outlet, I think. Lots of work to get this all to fit. Obviously, you guys just probably watched that. The transmission cooler is a TrueCool 40K. If you have a non-forced induction truck, I just want to give a quick shout out to these guys, Can-Made Products. I bought this with the thought that maybe I could somehow incorporate this mount, but that would have been just a little bit more complicated than it really would have had to be. You saw how we did it, but if you have a stock A-frame truck and you want to put a TrueCool 40K, I really recommend this bracket. I think it's pretty awesome. These are the guys to get it from, Can-Made Products. I think you can find them on eBay. I'll put a link down below in the description. Some of the relocation stuff that we're going to have to do, I'm not quite positive yet how I want to do it, but for the battery, I'll probably relocate it over there for now with a factory mount, but I also have room behind the fuel tank in the very back. For the PCM, I'm going to put it where the battery sits, and I've left a little bit of slack in the harness. Speaking of the harness, yes, I do still have to pull that all apart and get it rewrapped once all this is done. We talked about trimming the bumper. The grill actually will require no trimming at all. This is the 06, 07 Silverado and or HD grill, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of space back there. Yeah, that's about all I got for you guys this week. I do appreciate it. This is fun stuff. It's a lot of work, but we are getting so close. I initially wanted to take this truck on Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is like next week. Obviously, we're not gonna make it, but we are gonna make some passes sometime this year in it. So thank you guys for watching.